This is lightweight compared to the stuff I usually unbox here. Hi, I'm Heinbach and it's good to have you back. A while back, Herbs and Stones made their first synthesizer, Liquid Foam. I loved it a lot and I made a video on it. Yeah, and that helped kickstart the career of Herbs and Stones. Now there's a follow-up to the Liquid Foam called Mousse, and it's inside this box and I'm very curious to check it out. Herbs and Stones sent me this for review and they're also sponsoring this video. Careful, careful, I don't want to mess everything up. And here it is, Mousse. Let's bring in a second camera so you can see how beautiful this looks. Liquid Foam had banana patch cables. This has Eurorack format cables. Let's see how quickly I can make a track with this. Already. To pitch. No. Yeah, okay, so that's the correct out. That was fun. 1 hour from start to a track. But it's not that easy to glean what's happening when you just have no manual and you dive in. So in the meantime, I read the manual a bit, so I've got a bit of a better idea what I'm actually doing. And some of the coolest features that I noticed when playing this was actually the sound of oscillator 1, which is a sine run into an audio rate chorus, and that creates these beautiful tones. That's a highlight of this synthesizer. I've never seen this kind of oscillator before. The second oscillator is a bit more standard, with pitch, wave folder, or wave shape, and the noise you can add. these two together. That's a lot of power. We start with a clock. It has an internal clock, and you could also plug in external CVs. This feeds the 4-step CV sequencer that we have here. The sequencer can have a length of 4, 3, or 2 steps. Up here is the LFO section, which is similar to the one on the original liquid foam. And this can be used as basically a source for off-kilter melodies, kinda sample and holdish sounds, and modulation. And B are the 2 voice blocks with different filters, high pass, band pass, and low pass. Here are the envelopes. It's a simple attack decay envelope. There's no sustain or release or anything on here. You just have an attack and you can vary the decay. So let's see if we can come up with another cool patch for this. Now this is curious. When I change the noise, it will change the pitch. Patching the envelope to the VCA. Give that a trigger, maybe from here. Why? I'm super confused. I have to call Herbs and Stones. This doesn't seem normal. And here's a new mousse, because my pre-production unit had a bug in the PCB that caused a grounding issue, which made all kinds of weird little issues with it. Now, this is anything but unusual. Often when I get my hands early on an instrument, I discover something that is just not right. I don't mean extra features, though some instrument makers have implemented things that I suggested. I mean things like noises that only appear when you listen to them in a treated studio such as mine and not on the workbench, or incompatibilities between this instrument and other instruments of the same series. I'm happy that this got fixed. Sadly, I missed recording the audio on this part. Now, why am I unscrewing the mousse? Well, I noticed something. The two oscillators were tracking differently. If I tuned both to the same pitch and gave them the same voltage, they would be a half step apart. So the instrument as a whole felt untuned to me. Luckily, the oscillators on Mousse are digital. So Gianluca of Herbs and Stones fixed it with a firmware update. And therefore I need to open it up and access the daisy seed that is responsible for the sound generation. Finally, I can do these beautiful stereo things by sending the same control voltage to both of them and just treating the different oscillators to different effects and modulations, which creates these wide stereo spaces. This has been bothering me from the get-go, but yeah, it's fixed. And here is Mousse number 3, because I noticed that with my unit there were still some things wrong. That was that the VCAs would not close fully when under envelope control. Oh, it sounds so much better now. Clean. And the envelope invert behaves correctly now too. It was only kind of working before, I think, but now I can 100% understand the effect.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm just about to finish up the video. What was the source of the errors that happened?
The ground plane, that you had a bit of shift between some parts of the board, which actually I checked before and it was alright with my first prototypes. And luckily it was like a small batch, like a 10 units. I managed to manually modify them.
Okay.
But then I redid all the board again, so now the final version is.
I just want to make a music piece with this before I can talk about any more features now. Because this has been quite the journey. I never expected to become a beta tester for this. Here are some patch tips for Mousse. I like to play with the dual nature of it. So I've connected output A and output B, tuned to the same note, just by altering the waves, and get some nice effects. If you don't have any Eurorack around it or multiples, something like the tip-top stackables come in really handy, because you can send the same pitch information from the sequencer here to both oscillators. That's a bit low. Oh, very nice. A slight bit of modulation. Add a little bit of the wild modulations you get from the Y outputs, for example, to the wave. Get a rhythmic element. It's a mixture of an ARP and a sample and hold. Take the other one. And now this I'm going to send to X. I'm sending to a mount now. you've got two sequences here. Well, this one will send also pitch information while the step's out. This one is only for gates. And the cool thing is you can offset them to each other by giving them different step lengths. So now this is set to 3. And this is 4. You've got 4 playing against 3. This can create some interesting patterns. If I route sequencer A to gate in 1 and sequencer B to gate in 2, and now I send this information to the VCA, blop, and this to this VCA, and now up these. Let's up the speed a little. You can hear the variation. Now we can add percussive signals by modulating the filter with just a gate. So sending one from here, like this here. The same for here. Can open up the gate here now. Now I'm gonna switch one of the voices to high pass, so they occupy different parts of the spectrum. Maybe here band pass. Oh, control some noise. Gives you a hi-hat. And this is where the groove aspect of this machine comes in. And I just love the resonance. Best resonance. Really tuned well. Oof. And once you add a modular, the whole system opens up because you can use this to control other instruments by sequencing them. You can sequence this and you can send way more modulation than the one that you have on here. after all this time with Mousse, what do I think of it? I'm happy that it is now as it is, because I had a bit of an uphill battle in the beginning, thanks to the bleeding oscillators and all these little errors that made me unable to do the sounds that I wanted out of it. But that's all gone. It is the synthesizer that was promised, basically. Mousse is both simple yet complex. There are some very smart features here, such as the X-Y outs of this LFO modulating sample and holder section that can create wild modulations and sounds. And the pure range of the oscillators is raw, it's wide. But all of that comes, of course, at a price. There are many features here that I constantly would have wished for. For example, an attenuator, so I could just influence the way the modulation happens differently. Then an audio input. I would love to use these filters with other things, but of course Herbs & Stones has a dedicated filter box for that. A button to start and stop the clock would also have been helpful, as well as resets for the sequencers. The pitch has a pretty wide range, and that makes kinda hard to tune, especially if you are in the lower frequencies. You have to kind of find a middle ground, tune it somewhere here, and then use this, the sequencer basically, to play the different pitches. But there's a reason why most oscillators have a fine-tune knob next to them. I could go on longer with things that I wish for it, but truthfully, if you add a bit of Eurorack around it, you can do most of these things with Mousse. And I have to appreciate that this is a frame. This is a very, very cool frame, and you can paint your sonic pictures inside of it beautifully. You just have to decide if this is the right frame for you. I personally love the raw sound and the filters of it, and I find this ideally suited for kind of dance floor music, so I can sit in my studio and cosplay as like an electronic musician who does music for dance floors, which I really don't, but also as a drone machine. Oof. It's just, this has just one of the best filters I've ever encountered. And unique oscillators paired with that. That's just very cool. The whole thing. Cool. Mousse is out now and costs currently 899 euros. It does not come with a power supply, though you can use any standard guitar pedal 9-volt power supply with them, or a myvolts ripcord or similar. This has been quite the journey for me, and I don't think I'll ever undertake something like this again. Next time somebody sends me a product and it isn't 100% functional, I'm just gonna send it back. But Herbs & Stones Mousse, it's just freaking cool. Great job, Gianluca, on this. So, sample pack, huge sample pack on my Patreon, and thanks for your support there. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments below or visit the subreddit. I'll be seeing you in the next one.